Blue chucks, blue string, chunky watch, big chain. I don't fuck with snitches, I'm a real nigga. Most of my niggas locked cause they killed niggas.
Alright, let me just say this. Alright. Cerulean did this to himself. Alright, he destroyed his own platform. Okay. He destroyed his own following. Okay. With his arrogance, with going around talking shit to other niggas, all this, pumping himself up, and all this stuff, all this, pumping himself up, making him look bigger than what he really is, trying to down everyone else. You did this to yourself, Cerulean, and then the guys that was under you, he thought, Cerulean Grey actually thought that these guys and stuff that were up under him, that they actually saw him as a leader. They actually did it. And I said this about Cerulean a while back. I said, Cerulean basically just got popular off of the coattails of BGS Itmore. That's how Cerulean, really got popular. It was off of the coattails of BGS Itmore. It wasn't on his own accord. Okay, so a lot of the guys that were following with BGS Itmore followed Cerulean onto his channel, onto his new channel. But as you can see, his channel wasn't up for even really a whole full year before everything fell apart. And you have to ask yourself why that is. Okay, now, as far as the Grinch, I always saw the Grinch as like a guy who was, he's very intelligent, but I always saw him as a guy who was kind of too smart to be a follower. And I always saw him as a guy who was kind of too smart for Cerulean and them. And, or too smart to be following Cerulean and them. And because of that, because of that, I always said to myself, this isn't going to end, this isn't really going to end well. I don't see Cerulean really leading these guys for any significant period of time. And then you just look at the whole presentation, the corny ass jokes, all the corny ass stuff Cerulean would say. He thinks he's funny. He thinks he's being, the fake pro-blackness. You're not pro-black, Cerulean. Please stop trying to be pro-black. You're really bad at it. You're not pro-black. Because when you try to portray yourself as pro-black, okay, you do so in the absolute worst, most backwards way. Okay, you go out here and you defend people who should not be defended. And then you attack people who actually are doing good work for the black community. Like, you'll sit up there and you'll attack people like Boyce Watkins. Like, for what? Why would you attack Boyce Watkins? Boyce Watkins is teaching black people how to be financially literate. So out of all the people he could have gone at, all the people he could have attacked and criticized or whatever, you gonna go attack Boyce Watkins? Boyce Watkins don't even really go out and attack anyone else. He kind of stay on his own platform and do his own thing. So out of all the people who you gonna go after, Boyce Watkins. And then he constantly making little snide remarks and stuff all the time about Boyce Watkins in his live streams and stuff. And that gets annoying. That gets catty. People start to see that and say, well, damn, this dude is catty. And he's always making little jabs at people and stuff in his little streams and stuff that he would do. And when you do that, people, you know, that gets on people's nerves. That gets on a lot of people's nerves doing that. You know, that you know, and over time, people are just going to become aggravated with that. Okay, but you see, he surrounded himself with a bunch of sycophants and a bunch of people who were yes men and a bunch of guys who were around him who never criticize him. And Cerulean is not the type to accept criticism. He won't allow anyone in his group to constructively criticize him or say anything about him. If they do, he would throw those people out of his group. Okay, but see, when you operate like that, all you're doing is you're just allowing the frustration about your behavior to fester over time. Okay, and as it festers, okay, more and more people secretly are going to divest from you. And that's what happened with Cerulean. Okay, more and more niggas started to divest and divest and divest. Okay, until finally it came to this head where, you know, it was this big fight between him, Angry Man, and the Grinch. And the Grinch broke ranks with him, you know. And I noticed when that happened, Cerulean didn't really have much to say, because what happened is the Grinch kind of called him out for a lot of his arrogance and a lot of his big talk and a lot of his you know, a lot of the grandstanding and all that. And then the Grinch even said, because I saw it in the video that Kenneth Thomas posted, the Grinch even said that, look, Cerulean, you don't even listen to your rank and file, Cerulean. You don't even listen to the niggas in your organization. You don't listen to them. You just, you know, you just sit up there and you do what the fuck you want to do. And it's all based on your ego. So you talk all this shit about we're structured like a military organization. Well, that's not how military organizations function. They don't function off ego. They function off of chain of command, and they, you know, there's cooperation. When information and stuff is supposed to come in, the leadership is supposed to take that information into account when they make decisions. They don't just sit up there and make unilateral decisions. So when your men come to you with stuff, and you're just sitting there and you're not analyzing information, you're just ignoring it and you just doing what the fuck you want to do, they may not say it right then and there, but over time, the people under you they're gonna lose confidence in you. And that's what happened with Cerulean Grey. People just lost confidence in him, and now he's literally over there. Cerulean Grey is literally over there in RBR's room now. Literally, I just saw the video. I just was watching RBR's podcast. Okay, and Cerulean Grey is all over there in motherfucking his podcast. Who's Angry Man's not Angry Man, RBR's podcast, after he talked all this shit about RBR, called him the remedial brother and all of that. And then you look up and Cerulean is over there in RBR's podcast. Because literally Cerulean ain't got nowhere to go now. Niggas ain't fucking with him anymore. People ain't really watching him like that anymore. You know, I know he took a lot of his videos down because I guess he claimed, well, he supposedly took his channel down, and then he tried to blame Suge for it. I know he did that. He took his channel down, tried to blame Suge for it. And that in and of itself was weird. Why would he do that? And Suge even proved that the channel wasn't really down, that it was just hidden. Because a message, if it's hidden, a message will come up and it'll say, this channel does not exist. If it's hidden, if it's actually down, it'll say like this channel is gone because of repeated copyright or repeated community strikes or whatever, something like that. And Suge proved that real time on his panel, but this nigga Cerulean, he's still trying to use these tactics. I don't know what he was doing. Was he trying to get sympathy? Was he trying to get people to feel bad for him or feel sorry for him or whatever? I don't know. I can't figure it out. Because to me, the whole thing is weird. Okay. But I think he was trying to get the public on his side or whatever and try to make it look like he was being victimized by Suge, but I don't think that shit worked out, man. I don't think that shit worked out the way the way he thought it was gonna work out. It didn't work out like that. And he got exposed and he was looking bad more. I saw this coming a while ago. I said to myself, you know what? There's going to be some kind of mix-up between BGS, Cerulean, Angry Man, and them niggas over there. There's going to be some kind of mix-up. Something is going to happen. Because I say, these niggas, they walking around thinking that they're just invulnerable to everything, that they can just go around talk shit about other people. And then other people, I guess, won't retaliate or won't say anything back or whatever it is or what have you. And, that's kind of how I felt about it. It was kind of how I looked at it. I kind of looked at it like, he's doing that. He's doing this because, he thinks that there's not going to be any reprisal, but then what ends up happening is the guys that are under him, those are the ones that end up, coming against him. And the whole Gray Faulkner initiative is just all it is just a veterans club. Where they beat their chest and pretend like they somebody and talk shit about women all day, and that's it. That's all they do. They don't really do anything over there. Okay, they don't really accomplish anything. They're not about building. They're not about like trying to build businesses or build wealth or anything like that, or getting infrastructure up. They're not about that. They're just a bunch of guys sitting around talking about their opinions on things is really what they are. Okay. And, so it's just a bunch of guys talking about their opinions. So as a result, nothing gets built. Nothing ever really gets built. Nothing really comes of, the situation. Okay. So you got a bunch of guys, none of them are building anything. Okay. And so what did they think was gonna happen, really, Like, what did they think was gonna happen? Yeah, because if you're not building anything, you're not putting no useful energy towards progress. You just sitting around talking about your opinions, okay? And then it becomes, okay, my opinion is better than his opinion, or his opinion ain't shit, or I'm older, so my opinion means more than his, or he needs to shut up and sit down, and that's what happens. That's what ends up happening. You just get a bunch of catty ass Negroes running around, screaming at each other, yelling at each other, backstabbing each other. Okay. And then they let Taz in. And I've always said this, Cerulean has this weird ass obsession with low aptitude niggas. Why does he go out of his way so hard to try to be buddy and stuff with these low aptitude niggas? And it goes to this theory that I had that Cerulean's really a square. Okay, he's really a square. He's not really a street nigga. He tries to act and pretend like he's cool with the street niggas, but that's not who he really is. He really is a square nigga. And he jumps at the chance to prove himself to other niggas, okay, who he perceives as being like the street niggas and stuff like that. He goes out of his way, to try to, how should I say it? Win the approval of those guys. And that's one thing I noticed. It's fucking Cerulean. He go out of his way to try to look cool in front of these hood niggas and shit. And why is he doing that? And why did he let a complete dysfunctional guy like Taz on his fucking platform? Taz can't be trusted. Taz and his crew have hijacked live streams and hacked and all of that, and they can't be trusted. Nobody can trust them. And you trusted them, And Cerulean sympathizes with people like that. And then he wonders why the type of stuff that happens to his organization is what happens. You know what I mean? This is what this is what ends up happening. He ends up getting, his organization ends up falling apart. But look at the kind of people, you spend all this time trying to sympathize with people like Taz, a 41-year-old nigga that sleep on a couch. Okay? Nyla don't even let him sleep in the same bed as him. He sleep on a couch. And that's the nigga that you appealing to? And you wondering why your organization is having problems? And so I kind of looked at that. I saw that. I'm like, why is he trying to be all cool with Taz and shit? Taz ain't even, Taz is not someone who you should be trying to fuck with like that. But nevertheless, there he was fucking with Taz. And I'm like, oh shit, he fucking with Taz. And I said, you know what, this shit is going to be his downfall, because he fucking with niggas he ain't even got no business fucking with like that. But then I realized, this is his value system. These are the people who he, relates to. He relates to fucking people who are failures and men who are not doing well in life, and who are, he'll go against the people who trying to help black people and teach black people stuff, and then he'll uplift black people who ain't about nothing. And that just lets you know his mindset. Then he was in hangouts saying weird shit like black men should throw themselves in between black women and police in any situation. That's stupid. And he supposedly has sons himself. Is he telling his son that shit? Are you telling your son to go throw himself in a position, in a situation with a fucking police officer and a black woman, and he doesn't know anything about the situation? You never know. It could be a legitimate arrest. Okay, the black woman could be getting arrested for robbing somebody or fucking you know, child abuse or something. It could be a legitimate arrest, and you gonna throw yourself into the middle of that, and you don't know anything. You don't know anything about that, about what's really going on. You would have to be dumb to do something like that. You know, you really have to be dumb to do something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's my mindset. Yeah. That's what I say about that. You know. And once he started talking, and he's just so self-righteous with the shit, too. He'll say the dumbest things. And he'll be self-righteous about it. And he really does believe he's in the right. Telling people this dumb stuff, but what he doesn't realize is that the people that are around him believe he's dumb for saying that stuff. Okay, they believe he's dumb, okay? Alright. They believe he's dumb for saying things like that. They just don't tell him to his face. Okay, so all these niggas have been silent for all this time and just letting him put his foot in his mouth. Okay? And here he is walking around in a military uniform cartoon thinking he's some big boss or something. He thinking people really think he's a big boss. And people didn't think that about Cerulean. Cerulean's not really a leader like that. He doesn't have it in him. But motherfuckers never thought that about him. They didn't think he was this big boss and all that. And, you know, what Cerulean says goes. And, you know, niggas was just following him because he was riding the coattails of BGS. That's all. Okay? That's all. You know? That's all that was going on. And a lot of niggas don't even fuck with Cerulean like that. Okay? But yet, here he is, all in RBR's page, still talking the same stuff, ain't learned nothing. So he's just like Taz. He talk his shit and get fucked up, and still won't learn anything. Will still go and do the same shit that put him in the situation. You know, it boggles my mind. This guy, he's supposed to have a college, he's supposed to be an engineer or whatever. He's not very smart. I'll tell you, these guys on here, man, they be talking this shit. They're not smart guys. I don't care if they're educated or not. They're just not smart. Because he's doing the same thing over and over again. Okay? Yeah. He's doing the same thing over and over again. You know. And, you know, from what I see, you know, he hasn't learned anything. These guys, they don't learn much, man. They're not bright. They don't learn much. Yeah. And the same thing keep happening to them over and over again. Okay, and it's no different with Cerulean. Okay, so I don't know what his future is. I don't know what they really are trying to do with this Gray Faulkner plan. I don't know if it's even practical, if it's even a practical plan. I mean, I've already talked about it. I don't think the military is the solution for black people. I think financial literacy and economic empowerment is the solution. And we have to become a financially sophisticated people to really make it in America. Okay, serving America hasn't really served us. I think that the only thing that's going to serve us is us learning how to serve ourselves. Because for so long in the history of this country, we haven't been doing that. We haven't been putting ourselves in a position like that. We let other people. Okay, we have allowed the interest of other people to supplant our own. And we spend so much time trying to make America a just place and all that, and trying to change America, make America more fair. We forgot to make ourselves competitive as well. And that's when I think the future is. I don't think the future for black people is in the military. I'm sorry, I just don't. You know, and in order to really be successful in the military, you kind of have to want to be there. If you just thinking you just gonna take a bunch of dudes just sitting on at home playing Xbox and tell them that they're gonna be your future Gray Faulkner Initiative members and be in the military, it's another thing coming. If their mind is not on it, if they ain't been in ROTC or they ain't, done anything to prepare their, body and mind to want to be a part of that, then it's not gonna happen. You know, from what I see, yeah. And then you running the risk, what if the government comes to see these guys as infiltrators? You could put them in a bad situation. Are you gonna be there to back them up? When they join the police departments and stuff, are you gonna start a union to help protect them and stuff? If they end up in an incident and they shoot somebody and they on administrative leave, you gonna put money up for their family and stuff to take care of them? That's the kind of stuff that you need to think about. It needs to go down. And that whole kind of thing. That's my thing. Instead of just talking about stuff, I'm all about people, actually getting stuff done and building stuff and doing something that's sustainable, not just talking about stuff. You know. You know what I mean? But that's just me. That's just me. If you want to get these black boys to be in a position to go out and do that, you have to protect them. There has to be some sort of protections and stuff in place for them, for when stuff hits the fan, because the shit is gonna hit the fan. I mean, you got the Fraternal Order of Police. They seem to be able to have money whenever a white cop has an incident with a black citizen or something. They seem to be right there. I mean, they gave so much money to Darren Wilson's family. It looked like he might not even have to work again. After that same thing with George Zimmerman, wasn't even a cop. Look at what the same apparatus did for him. Okay? To the point where he was able to buy a new truck and basically drive all across the country and get into all kind of bullshit, off of that money. You know what I mean? So That's my thing. Okay? That's my thing. There has to be protections and stuff in place. You know, and whatnot. You know, and I don't see a lot of that. How should I say it? To be honest, I don't see a lot of that with the Gray Faulkner initiative. I just don't. Okay, if maybe it is there. If it is there, I'm not seeing it. Okay, and if it is there, maybe they should spend just more time talking about, you know, the good they can do instead of just going around attacking other people and creating enemies for themselves. Okay? But Cerulean, one thing I know about Cerulean created a lot of enemies, and he didn't anticipate this. Like, he didn't anticipate, you know, all of this was going to happen. It seems like, you know, he didn't anticipate that niggas was gonna come at him like this, that he was gonna end up having all these enemies and all that. You know what I mean? He didn't anticipate. He didn't properly plan, and you know, for this type of stuff. You know what I mean? You know. And now that everything is coming to a head, see, another thing, I don't think that they have a lot of respect for these younger guys that are under them. I don't think I don't think they really respect the intelligence of these young guys. I think that they really did think that these guys was just going to follow them, you know, forever and just be up under them, and you know, that's what I really think. Like, they never thought that any of these guys, you know, were gonna we're gonna think for themselves. Okay, they never thought that. I don't think they really thought that. You know, I just feel like they felt that, you know, well, if we set up a certain type of command structure, because see, the whole thing with the whole so-called military structure and all that they supposedly have over there, is that was just a structure that they was using to try to keep people under control. That's really what that was. And you know, and they set this whole thing up, okay, and they felt, okay, we're gonna set this up. It's gonna be set up like the military. We're gonna bring these young guys like the Grinch and stuff in. We're gonna give them a low rank. We're gonna give us a high rank, and then just based off that, they'll just do whatever we say. Okay, and the Grinch even said himself, you know, in the hangout where they was fighting, he said, look, Cerulean, you don't listen to your rank and file, you know, and Cerulean never addressed that properly. And, you know, the Grinch said that prior to breaking off from the Gray regime. Okay, he said that, so he had kind of, you know, he knew that that problem was there, but he had kind of held it in and just endured it for a period of time before this whole split up came. You know, and that's the crazy part. You know, that's the real crazy part about the whole thing. You know, the Grinch sat up there and he he held this stuff inside, you know, for a while before, how should I say it, you know, before, you know, he actually split away. All right, so Cerulean had time. He had time to reform himself and to listen to, you know, what the cats under him was saying, and take all that information and data in and make a change, but he never did it. He kept doing what he was doing. Okay, next thing you know, the gray regime's falling apart. The black order is falling apart. And everybody's wondering why. Why is the black order falling apart? Well, what's wrong? What's the issue, you know? Well, y'all didn't want to listen to these young guys when they had concerns. Y'all wasn't interested. Y'all did not believe and did not feel that their concerns were legitimate concerns. Okay, they just didn't feel like that. You know, they did not feel like that. And you know, in the end, they ended up paying the price for it. And the question remains, okay, so how do we move forward in the future? How do we prevent this type of stuff in the future? And my thing is this: no more ego-driven movements. No more of that. That has to die. I think even Umar Johnson proved that with his mindset and stuff, with his messed up mindset, his big ego and all that. And look where it made him end up. You know? So you have to look at those things. Okay? Look at these movements where you have these big ego leaders. Those days are over, man. I don't think the black community is interested in following people based off ego anymore. Just because you think you're a leader, or that you believe that you have a larger than life mentality or whatever, you know, other people, you know, there's other people out there who can see your flaws. Okay, who can see your flaws, who can identify your flaws and your issues, you know. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with constructive criticism, but the days of saying, well, look, I'm the boss, I'm the leader, and you shouldn't criticize me, you shouldn't say shit to me, you shouldn't say X, Y, and Z to me. Yeah. You know, because I'm up here and you down there. Those days are over, man. Ain't nobody going for that anymore. Nobody is going for that anymore. And the whole military structure that they had, that didn't work for them. You know, that didn't work for them. You know, that military structure and shit did not work for them. It's been a failure. You know, and they're not admitting to it. They're not trying to reform themselves or reform it or anything like that. I don't see them doing that, you know. Yeah. So what I see is I see Cerulean going on to RBR's channel and stuff, and he's playing apologist for himself now. No one else is even willing to go out there and go to bat for him. He's literally playing apologist for himself. He has to go himself and make the case, and about why he's still relevant and why niggas should still listen to what he has to say. And the reality is, no one wants to hear what Cerulean has to say anymore. No one cares anymore about what Cerulean has to say. Cerulean has had his little, he's had his little day in the, day in the sun, if you will. Okay, now is over. Now it's over. Now his time is up. Okay. Now it's time for him to go slip into, how should I say it, irrelevancy. Now is the time. Now is the time for that. Cerulean is not, how should I say it, he's not this big powerhouse that he thought he was. He's just not. Now he literally is out there by himself now. Okay. Now he's still got people out there for caping for him, like Maximum Black and all that. But see, here's the crazy part. These are all older guys. These are older, up there in age. That's another thing. These Gray Faulkner guys, they're older guys. These are not younger guys. These are not younger gentlemen. They're older guys. There's a bunch of older guys sitting around talking to each other. They no longer have the hearts and minds of the younger generation anymore to follow them. They just don't have that. Now, I heard Cerulean in the RBR hangout talking about, he was talking about hearts and minds and the importance of hearts and minds and that kind of stuff. But, the big question becomes, does he really have the ability to win over these hearts and minds and stuff, like what he claims? Does he have the ability to do that? And personally, this is just me, I don't think he does. He doesn't have the skills. He doesn't have the skill set. Okay, but yet he's online on the computer, portraying himself as this leader and this and that whole type of thing, and that's not what he is. He's the furthest thing from those things. All the things that he claims and all that type of stuff, the reality is Cerulean Grey is the furthest thing, okay, from those things. He's the furthest thing from those things. Okay, he doesn't even know how to fake it. He can't even fake it until he makes it, because that's how bad he is at it. And that whole type of thing. So how should I say it? So, it's over for him now. He's irrelevant. Now on his channel, he talks a lot about like military news and stuff like that. If he just retooled his channel and just talked about that, he actually would probably get a following from people who are interested in that. If he just eliminated talking about black issues and exclusively black people and just said, okay, I'm gonna specialize in foreign policy news and military stuff because that's what I'm an expert in. If he did that, he'd be cool. People would fuck with him. He might not have, as much black support, but there is an audience out there for people like that. Okay, but it seems to me like he ain't really trying to do that. That's not really his thing. His whole thing seems to be this whole, he's trying to portray himself as this big, significant leader and guy and stuff in the black movement and that kind of stuff. And that's just not who he is. He's too corny. He's too, like Cerulean, you say the dumbest things. You say shit that makes no sense, and all it does is it makes all these younger guys out here look at you like a simp. That's all it does. It just makes them look at you crazy. And Cerulean, what's crazy about him, he don't even realize that. He don't even realize how bad he looks, doing what he's doing and saying the outrageous shit that he says. He don't even realize. He think niggas is following him and thinking he's making good points, and he but see, that's because he has a bunch of yes men around him, and he don't want no one around that's gonna really shake things up and make him think twice about what he's saying and that kind of thing. He don't want that. He want a bunch of followers. But when you surround yourself by a bunch of followers and people who aren't really concerned, with leading, with helping you go the right direction, all they want is they just want adulation from your platform, and they just want to be a part of your platform. They want to get those little shields and stuff, and that's all they really want from you. And they, this is what the result is going to be. And he can't be mad. See, he want to act like he all mad at the Grinch and stuff. You can't be mad, man. You can't be mad because you created this situation. The only one who you can be mad at is yourself. You don't get to go around and talk all this shit to other people, talking about other people, issues with women and stuff. Meanwhile, he's married to a fat chick. Cerulean's wife is literally a fat, overweight, obese chick. That's literally who his wife is. Okay? And that's who he's married to. But he's never going to show his wife. You see, Suge exposed that. Suge was like, he ain't never going to show his wife. That's the one thing. He'll never show his actual wife. Okay? Never. Okay, but he want to sit up here and talk about other people and talk about, what's going on romantically and stuff in the lives of other people and other people's inadequacies and stuff. But he's not willing to do that himself, for himself, to himself. He's not going to do that to himself. He's not going to criticize himself, but he'll only talk about other people. That's just hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy. Okay, so now he's running to all these other people's platforms and stuff, trying to stay relevant, trying to keep his, and whenever I hear him speak, I never hear him speak humbly. He's always speaking in this mindset that he's better than other niggas and all of that. He's the leader, and everyone should just follow him, but no one is following him. Only in his own mind will niggas follow him. Niggas will not follow someone like him in real life. They just won't do it. Because of the crazy, dumb stuff that he says. And he puts on this he be trying to mimic Dr. King or whatever. He puts on like this whole preacher type voice or whatever, and calling everybody esteemed, the esteemed such and such, and the esteemed whatever. But none of these niggas that he's bringing on, including himself, have built anything. That's the thing. They're not out here building institutions and organizations and businesses and really boots on the ground trying to get out there and do that. They're not really doing that. Okay. That's not their thing. So they're not doing that. Okay. But, Cerulean continues to live in La La Land. He continues to believe his own, fictitious stuff that he's come up with. But it's just fiction. It's not real. It's really not real. Okay. With that being said, I'm going to cut it out right here. Let me know what y'all think. Leave a comment, subscribe, get the likes up. Peace.